Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map. I watched this morning a video by Rose from Dance of the Soul Tarot, and she has started the hashtag 10 around or 10 round decks. So my choices that I want to share with you of decks that I thought meh about, that I didn't like. I had a very kind of negative or whatever response to when I saw them first time, or even when I had them for a while, but then I got to appreciate and like them a lot, and they became actually some of the decks that I use very often. I think if you watch my Instagram, which you can follow, I link it below, you will definitely guess that one of those decks is the Starchild Tarot. I have received this deck from a swap. I saw the Starchild Tarot. I love the artwork. It's nothing to do with me not liking how it's made. It's a beautiful deck. It's amazing. Really well put together all in one. I have the second edition and I received this one from a swap, and just couldn't get to, I couldn't dig into this deck. It was just too kind of airy for me. It didn't have enough grounding. I even wanted to find the first edition because it was, in my opinion, a bit more kind of balanced. It had a little bit more of the earth energy to it. And what do we do? I kept it on my shelf because I genuinely appreciate the artwork and how much work went into it, and how beautiful this deck is, and how lovely the cards feel in the hands. The whole execution of the deck is amazing. And lo and behold, 3 years later, I keep reaching for this deck so much, and I found some of the cards, like that moon card, just so beautiful and soulful. And I pre-ordered the Moonchild Tarot that it's coming out in August, I think, or during the holidays anyway, here in the Northern Hemisphere. And I can't wait for this one. It looks amazing. But back to Starchild, it's, this is the second edition. And, it's one of those decks that has a very kind of high vibe. And I found myself working a lot on energetic side of things recently. So this deck kind of drew me in, I wanted to get a deck that also has quite high vibe in this regards, and this one fits perfectly. So Starchild Tarot just became one of my very loved decks. And I even ordered now that Oracle by Rebecca Campbell, I think. I forgot the name now, but it fits the artwork was done by Danielle, who also made the Starchild Tarot, Danielle Noel, she's called. And yeah, I can't wait to get it. So we'll see how it goes. So definitely this one was a deck that I, instantly came to mind when I watched Rose's video. Another one that I can really think of was the Sacred Creators Oracle. When I saw this deck, when Chris Ann was making this deck, I was just thinking, no way, it's just words, and that's not why I like tarot or oracle decks. I want to get away from words, and I want pictures and stuff like this. So I didn't back it on Kickstarter because I thought, I'm not going to use it. And then at some point I really enjoyed the colors. I turned into the pastel girl from really bright and full-on colors, and this deck obviously just is perfect in this way as well. Amazing execution, beautiful gilding, kind of a small version of a Starchild Tarot. It's beautiful, same paper, I think it just feels exactly the same. So when I got this deck, it instantly became my favorite oracle deck. And if you have had a reading with me, you have had probably a few cards pulled from the Sacred Creators Oracle. I use it a lot for myself. I use it for clients. It's one of my top oracle decks for sure. And the same, like my first reaction was, no, I want to use it, you know. Similar thing happened with Tarot of the She. I thought, I don't like busy decks. So when I saw this artwork, hello Luna, when I saw this artwork, I kind of thought, totally not my style. It's too busy, very, you know, fantastical. Yeah, I don't know. But then I kind of felt drawn to it, to purchase it at some point through this star card. I had a kind of reaction to it when I was looking at it online, and this deck's like kind of spoke to me on such a deep level, and I had quite a few interesting experiences with this deck, especially with this figure from the Sun card actually. So Tarot of the She, I love it for like a different approach to certain cards. It's, you know, it's Rider-Waite-Smith based, but I love the keywords Emily Carding gave the cards and the images and how she structured the whole deck. It's really beautiful. So yeah, this one also really surprised me and became one of the decks that I will be using definitely for a long time, even though I might not be using it all the time, or, you know, reaching for it. Recently I haven't been using much of this deck, but I did get back to it and I still love it, so that's really cool to know. The same thing happened with, in general, Tarot de Marseille. I remember in the beginning when I started playing with Tarot de Marseille was definitely not a deck I would be going for, or say that, oh, it's so beautiful, I can't wait, you know, to work with tarot like this. I didn't really appreciate the simplicity of it, the lack of, like, a lot of diversity of colors. Here I'm showing the Tarot Piemontese by Il Menegolo. But, you know, traditional Tarot de Marseille has just like 3 colors or 4 colors, and that's it. And at some point, I so grew into appreciating this type of decks and this simplicity of the style, and these decks of Tarot de Marseille and historical decks in general, because the same happened actually with Visconti Tarot. They became, as you know me, you know, one of my favorite systems to read. And I actually think that the way I read tarot has changed tremendously and improved so much more from learning how to read with Pip style decks. I have a playlist of Tarot de Marseille kind of introduction, which I've done a long time ago, so, you know, maybe it's not up to high standards right now, because Tarot de Marseille went through a big revolution and it's still going through it, I think. But if you're interested, I invite you to take a look as well. I will link it below. So yeah, Tarot de Marseille decks, all the historical style and Pip style decks, they just spark my imagination, and I learned how to read with them in a different way to the traditional learning of, you know, Rider-Waite-Smith and esoteric decks. Esoteric decks give you different layer to tarot, but those simple historic tarot decks give you a great opportunity to just practice what's on the cards, and I found it fascinating. The same really happened with the Visconti deck, because I couldn't read those minors, and I wasn't really appreciating the, you know, the art style. I don't know, I just wasn't totally into the mood of seeing the beauty of it. And then probably like 3 years ago, 2014 maybe, I watched Tarology with Enrique Enriquez, and since then I just fell in love with the historical decks, especially with Tarot de Marseille. Similar thing happened actually to me with Rider-Waite-Smith, because I learned, and, you know, I studied tarot and I learned on Rider-Waite-Smith like most of us, but I didn't really particularly like Rider-Waite-Smith. I think I turned around with the Carol Hertzer's decks, you know. So this is Elemental Rainbows Tarot, and the coloring she used, and this just the beautiful energy swirls, and it's pretty full on colors. So it's definitely for people who enjoy colors and who want to, you know, are not afraid of like having a bit of things happening in the background. But I love it for energetic readings. They really spark my intuition and are just very beautiful. So Carol Hertzer's decks, I still kind of made me appreciate the Rider-Waite-Smith system a little bit more for what it is. And right now I love the system in general. I love all tarot systems, but there was a turnaround deck, so not particularly as this deck per se, because I always liked it, but it made me appreciate the system of Rider-Waite-Smith. And the last deck that I want to mention, there were probably more of these, but it was actually the Aura-Soma Tarot. I mean, I wanted to have it so badly. And the beautiful Krishna Priya has gifted me this deck, which I'm forever grateful for. But to be honest, even though I wanted it really badly because I love the whole system and how it connects with energy work and stuff like this, but the artwork of some of the, you know, I wasn't so much into Archangel for sure, and also some of the artwork, it wasn't really my style, you know. So despite the fact that it wasn't my style, like this one is pretty beautiful, but like this one, whatever. So despite the fact that it wasn't really my style, I really liked how the Pamela Matthews, she's a gorgeous artist, you know. I love some of the cards and how she depicted the qualities of the bottles and infused the meanings of the tarot cards into them as well. So this deck, it's one of the most beautiful decks that I use for healing, that maybe I wouldn't have been so drawn to because of the artwork, but yeah, I was drawn to it because of the system and what comes with this whole thing. And right now I also, you know, I use it quite a lot. I use it for myself, and whenever I need quite I love this deck for past life readings, for any type of kind of karmic lineage work, for understanding issues behind certain matters, or for understanding why am I attached to something so, you know, so much, or when I don't understand something. This deck gives me quite interesting and deep readings, because they come on so many levels, on the physical or emotional, on spiritual. But yeah, the artwork itself, not on all the cards, but on some of the cards, wasn't really my cup of tea. But yeah, most of the cards are amazing. I actually, now while I'm talking about it, I'm just thinking, is it really a 10 round deck? Maybe not. Maybe I was always kind of drawn to it. Some cards more than others, but yeah. There's just something about this deck that it's very special and unique, and I'm so happy I have it because I use it and I really love it. So even though this one was maybe a little bit like not totally in the list of the decks that I kind of started loving because I had like no reaction to it, I kind of always loved this deck and always wanted to have it and always wanted to use it. But when I just purely look at the art itself, it wasn't totally my cup of tea to the end. So I think that's it. I hope maybe you will do a VR too. I would love to see. If you do, please let us know. And thanks, Rose, for creating such a cool hashtag. Bye.